Romance Revenge. Chapter 1, A Seed of Desire. The university town of Legan was alive with energy as students bustled between classes. The air was thick with the sound of laughter, discussions about lectures, and the occasional melody from someone strumming a guitar in the distance. Akua Sampa sat beneath the shade of a massive baobab tree, her notebook open but untouched. Her pen rested idly between her fingers, as her eyes followed a familiar duo walking across the campus lawns. Her best friend, Mansa Koomson, was arm in arm with Kennedy, her boyfriend. Kennedy was the kind of man who turned heads. With his tall frame, impeccable fashion sense, and warm smile, he seemed to exist in a league of his own. But it wasn't his wealth or his looks that held Akua's attention, it was his kindness. She had watched from the sidelines as Kennedy poured his heart into his relationship with Mansa, showering her with affection and support. Yet, it was painfully obvious to Akua that Mansa's love for him was skin-deep. Mansa didn't hide her indifference toward Kennedy. In their many conversations, she often joked about his predictable nature, his generosity, and, most of all, his wealth. "Kennedy's a sweetheart, sure," Mansa had said during one of their late-night chats in Akua's dorm room, "but he's just so boring. He doesn't challenge me. Maxwell, on the other hand, he's fiery, unpredictable. He keeps me alive." Maxwell was the man Mansa truly loved. Unlike Kennedy, Maxwell was irresponsible, perpetually broke, and a magnet for trouble. Yet, Mansa's heart was firmly tethered to him. She used Kennedy's money to fund Maxwell's needs, often sending him gifts and bailing him out of tight spots. Akua had listened to Mansa's stories for months, her chest tightening with every revelation. While Mansa played both men, Kennedy remained blissfully unaware of her deception. On this particular day, Akua's emotions felt heavier than usual. Watching Kennedy and Mansa together stirred something deep within her, a mixture of admiration, pity, and a yearning she couldn't quite name. She shook her head, scolding herself silently. "He's not yours to think about," she muttered, returning her focus to her notebook. "Akua." Mansa's voice broke her thoughts. Akua looked up to see her friend bounding toward her, Kennedy following a few steps behind. "Hey, you two," Akua said, forcing a smile. "Guess what?" Mansa grinned, her eyes sparkling with mischief. "Kennedy's taking me to one of those fancy rooftop restaurants tonight. Isn't he the best?" Kennedy chuckled softly. "Anything for you, Mansa." His gaze lingered on Akua for a moment, and she felt a strange jolt in her chest. He always looked at people with such genuine warmth, as though he truly saw them. It was a look Akua wasn't sure she deserved. "That's nice," Akua replied, masking her discomfort. "You're lucky to have him, Mansa." Mansa laughed, looping her arm through Kennedy's. "Oh, I know. Anyway, I'll call you later, Akua. Don't miss me too much." As they walked away, Akua closed her notebook with a sigh. Her heart was a battlefield, torn between loyalty to her best friend and a growing admiration for the man who deserved better than Mansa's games. That evening, Akua found herself unable to focus on her assignments. Mansa had called her earlier, gushing about the dinner Kennedy had planned. "The view is breathtaking," she'd exclaimed. "But honestly, Akua, it's exhausting how perfect he tries to be. He needs to relax." Akua bit her tongue, holding back the words she wanted to say. "Maybe you don't deserve him." But voicing such thoughts would only complicate things. Instead, she changed the subject, asking Mansa about her classes and pretending everything was fine. But everything wasn't fine. Akua knew it. The weight of her feelings for Kennedy was becoming harder to ignore. Every kind gesture, every sincere smile, every moment they shared, even in passing, pulled her deeper into a forbidden longing. And the more Mansa flaunted her indifference, the more Akua's guilt twisted into resentment. One day, fate intervened in a way Akua hadn't expected. It was a sunny afternoon, and Akua had just left the library when she spotted Kennedy sitting alone on a bench outside. He looked lost in thought, his usually composed demeanor replaced by a rare vulnerability. "Hey," she said hesitantly, approaching him. Kennedy looked up and smiled. "Akua." "Hi. What brings you here?" "Just finished studying." "You?" He gestured to the book beside him. "Just needed some fresh air. Mansa's busy, so I thought I'd wait for her here." Akua hesitated before sitting down. "Everything okay?" Kennedy sighed, running a hand through his neatly styled hair. "Honestly, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm not enough." Her heart ached at his words. "That's not true, Kennedy. You're one of the most incredible people I know." Their eyes met, and for a moment, the world seemed to fade away. Akua felt a spark, something raw and undeniable. She quickly looked away, her cheeks burning. "I mean, Mansa's lucky to have you," she added hastily. Kennedy smiled faintly. "Thanks, Akua. That means a lot." As they sat in comfortable silence, Akua realized something that both terrified and thrilled her. She couldn't keep denying her feelings. But acting on them would mean betraying the one person who had been her closest confidant. Torn between her heart and her conscience, Akua knew she was standing at the edge of a dangerous precipice, and one wrong step could change everything.